Hi, folks. I want to talk to you today about the elections in Pakistan and what might happen between India and Pakistan after the elections are done. So, they say there are three pillars that the Islamic State of Pakistan rests on: Allah, the army, and America. So, since the country was founded in 1947, the Pakistan army has ruled it for over 30 years directly. And even when it hasn't ruled it directly, it has controlled the politics of that country from behind the scenes. America, of course, has funded Pakistan from the very beginning. It brought it into military alliances in the 1950s. It has been giving it sophisticated arms ever since. It used Pakistan's jihadis to fight the Soviets in Afghanistan in the 70s and 80s. And it then used Pakistan as the conduit or the gateway into Afghanistan to fight the Taliban. The US has used Pakistan more or less as a client state from the very beginning. The relationship between the two countries has cooled somewhat since the Americans withdrew from Afghanistan a couple of years ago. But the diplomatic relationship and other linkages between the two countries are still fairly strong and important to both countries. The same three factors, Allah, Army, and America, played a role in the rise and fall of Imran Khan, the now disgraced former Pakistan Prime Minister. When he was brought in 2018 by the army, Nawaz Sharif, the then Prime Minister, was turned out in humiliating fashion. He was jailed and then banished to London for a period of at least 4 or 5 years. He has now returned to Pakistan to participate in the upcoming election, and it is now Imran Khan's turn to go into prison on charges of corruption and violating national secrecy acts. Imran was brought in by the army with the expectation that he would provide a more sophisticated, urbane face for the country at international fora. He started out well enough, but he soon got into a phase where he became overly religious and he started sporting prayer beads even at meetings with the likes of Donald Trump. And he started talking about a Riyasat-e-Madina in Pakistan, a welfare state, if you will. The problem was that he was now starting to perform poorly on most fronts. The economy in Pakistan tanked during his tenure. He almost destroyed relations with Saudi Arabia by aligning with Malaysia and Turkey. He spoiled relations with China by interfering in the performance of the China-Pakistan economic corridor. And he started using anti-Americanism, which is very popular in Pakistan, as a ploy to elevate his own popularity by bashing the Americans at every opportunity. He made some fairly provocative statements against America, like saying that the Taliban had broken the chains of slavery when America left Afghanistan a couple of years ago. He then decided to go and meet Vladimir Putin on the day that Russia started the war with Ukraine. And that didn't go down well in America because America was upset that Imran was trying to adopt a posture of neutrality in the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Things really went south between Imran and America when he started to wave around a cable at a public meeting saying that it contained information about the State Department, the American State Department, making plans to oust him from power. That didn't go over too well with the Pakistanis either because he was now violating official secrets laws by waving around confidential information at public rallies. Relations between Pakistan and America were in danger of going into a tailspin. The army realized that he had to be sent home. A no-confidence vote was organized and he was ousted from power. The Pakistan army would probably have taken a more lenient view on Imran if he had just let things go at that point. But the problem was Imran wouldn't. He kept going, and on May 9th of 2023, he organized a massive protest against the army, and that led to a crackdown against Imran and his supporters. The army got tough with him. They charged him with multiple crimes, including corruption and violation of official secrets laws, and they sent him to prison. So it looks like the army has really decided to play hardball with Imran this time around. As a replacement now, Nawaz Sharif has been brought back and rehabilitated, and it looks like he is all set to become the next selected Prime Minister of Pakistan. Just like Imran was the favorite son in 2018, it is now Nawaz Sharif's turn again, probably for the fourth time, to be elected Prime Minister of Pakistan. Clearly, the revolving door of Pakistan politics has turned full circle between Imran and Nawaz Sharif. It appears now that the army is planning to elevate Nawaz Sharif to the PM's post very soon. There are 336 seats in the assembly, and it looks like Nawaz Sharif may win about 100 or so of those seats. And even if he doesn't win a clear majority, it appears that the Pakistan army will make things easy for him by arranging to have a coalition put in place so that he can take over soon enough. As they say, the Pakistan army may have never won a war, but it has never lost an election so far. And it looks like the Pakistan army is about to add another election to its kitty. The problem is that a weak coalition government will be completely dependent on the army, and it won't be able to do much to solve the problems facing Pakistan, like its economic crisis, its internal security problems, and its foreign policy problems with its neighbors like Iran, Afghanistan, India, and even China. The Pakistan army has a stranglehold on the country. It controls virtually every institution in the country. All these institutions are headed by either serving army officers or retired army officers. The army has massive business interests all across the country. They make everything from cereal to cement. It even has a role in the agriculture sector in the country. It's as much a business conglomerate as it is an army. The Pakistan Army Chief even has a role to play in the Special Investment Facilitation Council, which has been set up to attract foreign investment into the country. So many countries have an army. In the case of Pakistan, the army has a country. So the army basically controls foreign policy, defense, the economy, and most aspects of politics in the country as well. The civilian government's main job is to present a democratic facade and to facilitate discussions with America, the IMF, and the World Bank on securing the next loan for Pakistan. So the government, as before, will still be a hybrid government, with the civilians playing a relatively minor role and the real power being in the hands of the army. That is not going to change. And Nawaz Sharif may try to push back against the army, but he's going to be careful because the army will not cede power easily, and they will continue to paint all politicians in Pakistan with a broad brush as a bad bunch and an unreliable crowd. Now, as far as America's role in this election is concerned, the State Department issued a pro forma statement saying that they hoped that the elections in Pakistan would be free and fair. Everyone is quite sure that the elections are anything but free and fair. And quite frankly, if the elections had in fact been free and fair with a level playing field, it's quite clear that Imran Khan would probably return to power. Now, when it comes to relations with India, the former army chief, Bajwa, was actually in favor of holding talks with India and improving relations. Imran and his foreign minister, Shah Mahmood Qureshi, actually nixed the idea. Now, Nawaz Sharif is definitely more in favor of improving relations with India than Imran was. He has gone so far as to say in public that a lot of the problems afflicting Pakistan are not India's fault, as is frequently rumored in that country. They're Pakistan's own fault. The army has always controlled Pakistan's policy on Kashmir and its foreign policy with India. So, although Nawaz Sharif first made friendly statements towards India last year, and even prior to that, he has now been asked to change his tune by the army. So, Nawaz Sharif came out with a statement saying that India would have to restore Article 370 in Kashmir before Pakistan could sit down to have talks with India. Now, this is a very strange request because India is a sovereign country and no other country can ask India to come change its constitution as a precondition for holding talks. But the Pakistan army is desperate to keep this issue alive. This issue is a cash cow for the Pakistan army, which allows it to generate large amounts of money from the budget for its needs, and it keeps the upper echelons of the army very comfortable. This policy has been in force for the last 7 decades, and I doubt very much that it's going to change anytime soon. The Pakistan army always needs this exaggerated Indian threat to try to keep its budget allocations in good health. Once the election results are announced in Pakistan and Nawaz Sharif, as expected, takes power in Pakistan, Modi may issue a pro forma statement congratulating him. But it seems doubtful that the Indian side will make any serious overtures towards Pakistan on the peace front. This would take a lot of time and effort, and is unlikely that the BJP and Modi will invest that effort and time in the run-up to the elections to be held in India this summer. The Pakistan army has not disavowed terrorism completely even now. And even if they were to come out and disavow terrorism and stop all support to these terror outfits that they sponsored in the past, there may still be some outfits out there, some rogue outfit that are beyond their control that carry out a strike on the Indian side. And if Modi and company were to invest effort and time into trying to improve relations with the Pakistanis before the election in 2024, and a terror strike were to happen, that would be completely disastrous for them before the election. The increasing gap in strength, military strength, and economic power between Pakistan and India has also reduced the need for India to make any peace overtures to Pakistan right now. India is now a leading power, and it would seem that it would not be very keen to be seen as an equal to Pakistan anymore in talks. I think India sees Pakistan more as a nuisance now than as a real threat. Talks between countries are often mediated by big powers. The problem with that approach now is that America, China, Russia are all caught up in their own problems right now. America is dealing with economic and political issues. China is dealing with serious economic issues. Russia is embroiled in the Ukraine war. So no one really has time to mediate. And quite frankly, India has gained in stature so much over the last few years that it's too big to be brought to the negotiating table by a third party anymore. After successfully dehyphenating itself from Pakistan over the last 10 to 15 years, the last thing India would want now is to be linked to Pakistan again to bring about this hyphenated situation in the Indian subcontinent. So elections or no elections, it seems unlikely that there's going to be any sort of talks between India and Pakistan anytime soon. I think that the only engagement between India and Pakistan will be the daily show at the Wagah border, with soldiers from both sides making furious noises and gestures. And this may actually give the Pakistan army some comfort in trying to convince itself that it is India's equal. If you like this video, consider giving it a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to this channel for more content like this. Until next time, take care.